a world often overshadowed by challenges, non-governmental organizations emerge as the unsung heroes driving positive change. These dedicated entities work tirelessly to address pressing societal issues, from poverty alleviation to environmental conservation. With limited resources and unwavering commitment, NGOs empower marginalized communities, advocate for human rights, and promote sustainable development. Despite their profound impact, NGOs frequently operate in shadows. Their efforts unnoticed amid larger narratives. They are the frontline warriors in crisis, providing essential services when governments falter. Their grassroots approach fosters resilience, innovation, often leading to transformative solutions that resonate on a global scale. Welcome to 30 Minutes on NTA News 24. This episode is about applauding non-governmental organizations and their efforts in promoting sustainable development. I'm Lydia Sampson. A first report put together by Thomas Ogbetere chronicled non-governmental organizations, their crucial role in addressing societal challenges and fostering development, particularly in areas where government efforts may be lacking. He x-rayed how these organizations are driven by diverse missions ranging from humanitarian aid to advocacy for social justice, and why they often act as vital intermediaries between communities and governmental bodies. Let's have more from Thomas.
The role of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, in addressing global societal challenges cannot be overemphasized, with diverse missions ranging from providing humanitarian aids during crises or natural disasters. NGOs act as dependable intermediaries between communities and governments, offering both immediate relief and long-term development. Experts say, driven by a commitment to creating positive socio-economic and environmental change, NGOs often fill gaps left by government and larger institutions, especially during emergencies.
Nobody can do it alone. Government cannot do it alone. NGOs cannot do it alone. Individuals cannot do it alone. It has to be a collaborative effort between all stakeholders, everybody involved, to support these children. The government can do more in terms of awareness creation, but when we talk about psychological, psychosocial support, I think that's where NGOs actually come in. We, as an NGO, we have a psychologist in-house that actually helps us to speak to parents to navigate what they're going through in terms of their children and the cancer diagnosis and all of that. So everybody has a role to play. The government has a role to play. NGOs have their role to play, and individuals have their role to play as well.
Significance of NGO generally is to assist the government in social development, one way, social corporate responsibility, also the other way. Then narrowing it down to Nation First Foundation, which generally we know that all NGO is working together to see that livelihood is improved for the vulnerable people, not just vulnerable, for everybody in need. All right, so that's what Nation First actually stands for, to improve living standard for vulnerable people through basic amenities, education, and all of these humanitarian activities.
Providing quick humanitarian aids during crises like natural disasters or pandemics. Their flexible structures and broad network allow them to respond faster than larger bureaucratic organizations. The swift response by NGOs most times underscores the vital role NGOs play in saving lives and alleviating sufferings in critical situations.
To be honest with you, you'll be quite surprised. Even in Abuja here, there are a lot of people that believe that children don't have cancer. It takes a lot of convincing. It takes them seeing a real-life survivor. It takes them seeing a parent who has a child with cancer for them to actually believe. Even one of the children that we supported, the father left, saying cancer is not in their family and things. So there's a lot of stigma attached to childhood cancer. We try our best. We try in terms of communicating with them. We go down to the grassroots and communicate in a language that they understand, basically. So those are one of the major challenges, I think, the stigma and the lack of awareness.
They added that beyond crisis response, NGOs also play a crucial role in community development. Many focus on empowerment through education and vocational training, helping individuals gain needed skills for self-reliance and sustainable growth. This is basically through programs that offer literacy, vocational certifications, and entrepreneurship training support. This goes a long way in helping marginalized population in breaking poverty cycle. These initiatives often promote long-term development and change by enabling individuals to create their own opportunity, enhancing community resilience and economic stability.
Like there is this community we went to carry out an hygiene project at the time. Then we now realized that in that community, I went back to do my personal research, went to the marketplaces, went to several places, went to the Okada men to talk to them. So personal assessment I went there to do. I was asking them, so what do you think is the major problem? How are you people? Then I got one business idea from the community, from them, the indigenes who are suffering from the same problem. What is the problem? They said they did not have a place to dump their refuse, and they did not have a central latrine, that's toilet, and the bathing place where those our outside brothers call girawaka, right? So when they told me that, I go back, I told my team, I said, there is something we will have to do in that community. Do you know we can empower the community members by taking up their refuse and bringing it to a particular place? And we get even a waste management company who we can also transfer this waste, the solid waste that are taken from those communities to, and it's converted to money again.
According to experts, in addition to providing direct aids, NGOs are strong advocates for social change, raising awareness on critical issues like human rights, environmental protection, and gender equality. Through campaigns and outreaches, they influence policy and legislation, often working with international organizations, governments, and grassroots movements to promote legal reforms and social justice.
We have been creating jobs. We have been creating jobs as that's why I talked about informal education, which is skill acquisition and capacity building and all of it. We have been doing all of this, but you see, we need a lot more of partnership to bring these things to life. There are several. When any community we visit, right, whatever that is bringing them down is an opportunity that they have not looked into. So we need people to sensitize them, bring them to know what they are lacking that is close to them. A lot of people want to travel abroad to get what you are going abroad to do. You can do better here if you can look inward and see what is missing around, because that is what social entrepreneurship is all about, looking around for what is missing.
Awareness is something that we're very big on. Recently, we just concluded an awareness at Dusepe community. We've done in Gwarimpa community. We've been to the IDP camp in Durumi. So we try to go to as many communities as possible to talk to them about childhood cancer. We also do awareness in secondary schools. We have a partnership with the Secondary Education Board where we go into different government schools, talk to the children about childhood cancer, let them know that if a child has cancer, they don't need to stigmatize, they need to show love and give hope to that child. So those are some of the avenues in which we actually create awareness.
NGOs are effective in amplifying the voices of underrepresented communities through grassroots mobilization, working directly with these populations. They influence public opinion and legislative agendas, promoting inclusivity and diversity. They are quick to add that this bottom-up approach ensures that societal changes are equitable and address the needs and aspirations of those most affected by societal challenges.
Me too. One thing that I also look out for whenever I'm going out or whenever I'm thinking of outreaches, we go we first of all go for need assessment. That's baseline survey, like we all know, to know what the people need first. And when we do that, we channel our project to the need of the people. That is where we get it right most of the time. And for me also, as a social entrepreneur, we take advantage of the societal problems to create wealth.
Community leaders are very, very important because there are some people that would actually believe they are community leaders or their pastors or their imams. They'll believe what those people will say than actually believe a doctor. So it's important that we actually carry these people along in anything that we're doing for them to be able to add or amplify the voice and also to give a sense of belonging to people in rural communities. I think it would really go a long way. We, as a foundation, we work a lot with community leaders, like communities we've been to work with them, because if they don't buy into the idea, if they don't believe you, you'll be a hard sell. That's the truth. So we try as much as possible to actually work with them. We haven't done much in terms of religious leaders. Actually, now that we're having this conversation, I think that's a good place to also venture into. We haven't done much in terms of religious leaders, but religion tends to play a very pivotal role in managing cancers in general, any form of disease. Most times we've seen in situations whereby a child has cancer, the woman will say, God forbid, it's not my portion. They'll go to their pastor, they'll go to their imam, they'll go to their traditional leaders. By the time they've gone for like 6 months and come back, the disease advanced. So it's a sort of setback. So if religious leaders also know and believe that the best way to treat this sort of diseases is medically as of now. The role of prayer is there, but we cannot leave medicine and hold on to prayer 100%. They have to go hand in hand.
The relationship between NGOs and government is increasingly viewed as partnership for overall social good. While NGOs often operate independently, their collaboration with government enhances their impact. NGOs bring flexibility, local knowledge, and community connections, while government provide broader resources and policy frameworks. Effective collaboration, they say, can lead to more comprehensive and sustainable solutions to societal challenges, solidifying the essential role of NGOs in creating a more just world.
Next is a report by Ibrahim Bello Gunda, and is dwelling on the history and significance of World NGO Day. Why is it considered a significant occasion dedicated to honoring the invaluable contributions of non-governmental organizations worldwide? Is the day serving as a platform to celebrate the tireless efforts of NGOs? Who are the frontline NGOs in Nigeria? Let me not preempt Ibrahim Bello Gunda.
World NGO Day is set aside to celebrate the contributions made by non-governmental organizations around the world. It was marked for the first time by United Nations, the European Union and other international organizations in 2014. NGOs definitely play a crucial role in addressing global challenges, advocating for human rights and fostering sustainable development. The day recognizes the effort of NGOs in providing humanitarian aid across various sectors, promoting social justice and contribution in other fields. NGOs also serve as watchdogs, holding government and corporations accountable for their actions or inactions. This is done through advocacy, research, and public awareness campaigns. They shine a light on injustice, raise awareness about pressing issues, and mobilize communities to demand positive solutions. The universal concept of the World NGO Day is to celebrate, commemorate, and collaborate the various NGOs around the world and the people behind them that contribute to society all year around. World NGO Day is also an opportunity to celebrate the diversity and innovation within the sector. NGOs are of various focus interests and sizes, ranging from small grassroots organizations to large multinational entities, each bringing its own unique approach, expertise, and perspective to the table, enriching the collective effort towards positive societal change.
NGOs that have been set up must know that they have to work hard to be able to sustain their own setup without relying so much on foreign donors. Foreign donors, if you do have them, good, but you cannot base all your activities on receipts from foreign donors. But all you need to do really is to work hard and get yourself together with your aims and objectives. And when you sell your ideas to people, there could be other local, other communities or persons who are interested in the welfare of people, who can support you, can collaborate with you. But if not, you have to also have your source of income, which you can help to give. Because not only just waiting for people to donate, you have to also make a lot of sacrifices from your end if you are the funder of that foundation or whatever it is that you need to put together to see that there is resources to be able to care for the activities we have lined up. And that means that your beginning point, you have a constitution, you have the aims and objectives, you have how you raise your funds. All this must be spelled out in clear terms, and then know how you go about seeking for help if there is need. NGOs are supposed to be registered bodies. It should be registered. Should be the activity, their headquarters, the personnel, they should be properly monitored. That's why we have security agents. Security agents can do their work well by monitoring the activities, see who they actually attend to, how do they come about, the people they are attending to, how do they get their sources of income or what have you, how do they go about it? If they find out that they are dubious, they should be able to keep them out of circulation.
The non-governmental organizations have a wide spread across the country, have a wide reach even within the grassroots, and they focus on various subject areas like issues of human rights, issues of grassroots development. There are even NGOs around agriculture or farming. There are NGOs around health issues and all of that. Now, these are, the one of the major focus for NGOs is advocacy. It's also sensitization. They complement the roles of government by going deeper into issues of policy, issues of law reforms, and driving, the sustainable development agenda for, the government. So they are actually indispensable. That is the truth.
For the beneficiaries of the benevolence of NGOs in Nigeria, their contribution to societal development and problem-solving initiatives, they say, can never be quantified.
NGO means non-governmental organizations. The INGOs mean international non-governmental organizations. They mean the same thing. They do the same job, almost. But one, it's not just non-governmental. Most people do not really understand if they say non-governmental, what does it mean? Non-governmental means that you are not funded by government. You source money voluntarily as a voluntary organization to do your work. So that is what it really means. These organizations have put together the standard operating procedure. So we coordinate that processes. So for them to operate in Nigeria, we first of all, they have to make application to the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, and they have to provide, alongside that letter, a profile of the organization detailing the vision, the objectives, and key deliverables. They also have to provide certificates from Office of National Security Advisor, which will give them clean slate to operate, and anti-money laundering, information from an arm of the EFCC. So with those documents, we now proceed to assess their suitability, credibility, and be able to register them.
Some of them have their missions and visions clearly spelled out. And if you look at most of the missions and vision statements, they are for the good and the betterment of the society.
They are really making positive impacts, but sometimes they go extreme, beyond the national interest and move to selfish interest. So, but their work ideally is making impacts, because why? They put the government of the day on their toes.
For them being out there and then someone endangering their lives is actually, it's inhuman.
Yes and no, because some of them are fraudulent. They get sponsorship from developmental partners, and they will use it for that purpose. Those that are sincere and doing what they profess, yes, NGO is good.
To acknowledge us is to be able to participate fully and actively with us, so that we can do more. In fact, do better job than we had planned. It is when people come in to support, to be present at the various activities, that we find that we are really acknowledged, and that the work we are doing is seen to be positive and seen to be for the best interest of those we are serving, the circle we are serving. especially the various sectors that we have defined or designed our program to serve.
I do not have the full statistic, but I know that we have over 100,000 civil society organizations in Nigeria. I know that for sure because, like I introduced myself, I'm a member of a national network of civil society, and I know the total number of NGOs that are within the Child Protection Network and several other networks. So now, one way is to harmonize, is for NGO civil societies to have coalition. When you have coalition, for example, we have SAKEFA, for example, which is an NGO on education. We have NACTAL, for example, which is an NGO against child labor and child trafficking. You have Child Protection Network, which is dedicated to issues of child protection, and several other networks. Now, when you have this network, now the advantage is that the civil societies that are working within this particular network are streamlined, are regulated by a national body.
In Nigeria, NGOs empowers grassroots movement in various areas of concern such as HIV/AIDS, food security, education, persons with disability, gender equality, survivors of violence, climate mitigation, water and sanitation, and economic work to eradicate poverty and hunger through sustainable value-based holistic community development. All these, they noted, are not without challenges, as some sacrifice their lives or sustain permanent injuries in the process, especially in parts of the country facing security challenges.
There are so many NGOs for different objectives, for different reasons. People create them for different things, but our own is basically to care for persons with disabilities. There are others set up for social upliftment of a society. Some are set up to improve the welfare needs of elders. Some are set up for people who are in distress situation, people who need hospital care and all that. So there are so many of these activities for different NGOs. Some are there to help government also to do the best it could in terms of providing for the people, programming or setting up projects or what have you. You have to look at these areas where there are greatest needs, where the people are in greatest needs. How can you help? And then fashion out your own area. You cannot do everything, but what are the areas where you can care for? So you look at that and stay put by working your program around it to ensure that you are able to succeed in the various tasks you have assigned to yourself.
Poorest of the poor actually live within the grassroots, and the majority of the people also live within the grassroots areas, and it's within the purview of the grassroots that you see, a lot of this works. Like I talked about issues of migration, I've talked about a lot of issues around child right abuses, human right abuses, repugnant cultural practices, issues of access to justice, even for the indigent people, issues of community conflict and all of that as a result of lack of access to justice. All of them happen within the rural communities. And so we have a lot of NGOs that are pushing in deeper into these communities, and by so doing, they are creating sustainable impact within those communities.
In every part of Nigeria and around the world, individuals are coming together as NGOs, working tirelessly to create positive change. These are the unsung heroes, the people who, without expecting recognition or reward, dedicate their lives to improving the lives of others. They are the backbone of the society, quietly working to ensure a better future for all. Yet, despite their efforts, many of these unsung heroes struggle to find the resources they need to continue their noble work. And on the special occasion of World NGOs Day, those interviewed called for recognition of their sacrifice for the good of humanity.
Now, as we reflect on NGOs' contributions, it is crucial to recognize and celebrate these champions of change. By supporting NGOs, society not only acknowledge their vital role, but also invest in a brighter future for all. In the fabric of societal progress, They are the threads that weave hope and resilience into our communities. I'm Lydia Sampson. Thanks for watching. See you next week with another topical issue.